Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to unbox and take a first look at The Hunt from 25th Century Games. This is designed by Matthias Kramer and Engin Kunter, with artwork provided by Albert Montez. The game is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 20 to 45 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $35. I will mention, as I record this, it is on sale over at the 25th Century Games website for $25. Important for me to mention that. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got The Hunt. So do want to mention before we jump on in that the fine folks over at 25th Century Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. All right, let's get the shrink wrap off, and we'll take a look at the back of the box. So my understanding is that this represents the Battle of River Plate. So it is the Axis, the German Admiral Graf Spee, as well as the 3 cruisers that the British Admiralty sent out to stop it, because the Admiral Graf Spee was a commerce raider. A tense and exciting naval duel. Where will you use your wits to defeat your opponent? So it looks like we've got decks of cards. Looks like we've got a map. So we have a game board, 36 cards. I believe each side gets their own deck, 14 ship counters, hint markers, and so forth. I've heard good things about The Hunt, and this is something that I think our wargaming audience might be interested in checking out for a lighter weight game, or maybe even as a gateway game to introduce the concept of war games to their family and friends. So we've got a rule book to start off with. Let's take a peek at that. September 1939, the commander of the Admiral Graf Spee, Hans Langsdorff, receives the order to sink as many British freight ships as possible in the South Atlantic. His objective is to intercept the ships crossing the Atlantic and prevent supplies from reaching the UK and other destinations. For the first months, the plan seems to work. Within a few weeks, Admiral Graf Spee sinks 9 freight ships and sends almost 50,000 gross registered tons to the seabed. The gigantic loss puts the Army Command in London, Whitehall under pressure. To best protect the freighters, the Admiralty sends several hunting groups, 3 battleships, 4 aircraft carriers, and 16 cruisers to find and destroy the Admiral Graf Spee. The Hunt is an asymmetrical duel where one player will assume the leadership of the British Royal Navy, while the other player will represent the German Kriegsmarine. Each player has a different goal. To win, the German side must successfully stay hidden from the British and sink 5 freight ships. Meanwhile, the British must hunt down and engage the Admiral Graf Spee in a final battle. The winner of the battle wins the game. Will the Royal Navy be able to take advantage of their numerical superiority, or will the Kriegsmarine be the ones who, with their cunning and refined strategy, manage to overthrow their rival? An exciting battle that will define the outcome of the Second World War. All right, well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say the Battle of River Plate define the outcome of World War II by any stretch. But this is an interesting scenario, I'll tell you that much. So here we've got our components, our setup, card anatomy. I do notice that the art style is kind of almost like a graphic novel, comic book line art. But that shouldn't make you think that this is a lightweight game this is not a serious game, because I don't believe that is the case. So talking about playing cards, you can play a card as an event, or you can play it for its action points. Well, so it is card driven. We are very, very familiar with that concept in game mechanics. Different ways to achieve victory. With the freight ships, German player immediately achieves victory if they sink 5. The British player immediately achieves victory if they successfully guide 5 freight ships to their destinations, which is unlikely. With a battle, if the British player hunts the German player with a successful search, the battle will be activated. The battle will trigger the end of the game. The player who takes the least damage during the battle is the winner. Be cautious. Depending on the British force that participates in the battle, the Royal Navy usually has the advantage. The German player should avoid battle at all times unless they have a very strong hand. And then the Montevideo card, which is the historical end, which the reality is the Admiral Graf Spee goes into ports. It's a neutral country, so then they end up getting kicked out. And rather than be sunk, they scuttle the ship. So here we've got card play phase. So it looks like we're getting, is this an example of play? It could be. German player, card play phase. And then redraw cards. And then the British player has their freight ship phase and then card play phase. So they are moving units. Then we have British intelligence. And then we have the British strategy track. So these cost action points. Here's an example of battle. So we do have some cards that would affect that as well, it looks like. And then common cards, historical notes. British cards, historical notes. And German card, historical notes. Nice. And then we've got our credits on the back. So we've got a little punch board with some counters representing the Admiral Graf Spee, the Altmark, which I think is a refueling ship, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, we've got the various different forces here. So these are the British naval forces, and then it looks like these are going to be our freight ships. We also have our game board. So it looks like the Hunt is a nice portable game here. That's kind of cool. Get the back here. So there we go. So it looks like this is the German side. Maybe that's the British side, and this is the German side. Because I think this might be their strategy track. All right. Very cool. Very cool. So here we've got the game board, which much of it is the game map. We have a bunch of goodies in here in a tuck box. So we've got some counters. So it looks like we've got hit counters, targeting counters possibly. And I'm going to take a guess that these are air reconnaissance counters. Just kind of taking a peek there. We've got our decks of cards. Oh, we got some card sleeves. That's nice. I dig that. Looks like we've got a little shield to plot your movement. I'm taking a guess this is probably for the Germans. We've got a draw bag, and we've got a 6-sided die. And then we've got this insert. That's kind of cool. I like that. So yeah, so that is what our shield looks like. Pop that in. Okay, so we will take a look at these cards here. I'm looking forward to playing this. It'll probably be my best friend, Elliot Miller, who I go head-to-head with. And of course, that means I'm no doubt probably going to have to play as the German Kriegsmarine. Okay, so we've got blue and we've got red. So this looks like that is a player aid card. And it appears that this is our British deck. We're not going to look at all the cards, but I do want to give you a good feel for these different cards. And these are nice, large cards. So you've got Harwood's Intuition. Play as a reaction when the Graf Spee searches for a freight ship in a space where a force is located. Perform a search with +1 using that force. And it appears that I think those are our action points there as well. Scuttling in Montevideo. If played against Montevideo as the 5th card in the battle, you win the game. Cat and mouse game. The German player must sum the value of their cards and tell you the total. Then you get to use 3 action points. Look at your opponent's cards. Concentrated fire. We get Harwood's Intuition again. Actually, we get that a few times. But it looks like we have different totals on our action points with those. Okay, then we've got the German deck. So we get their player aid card. A new painting for Graf Spee. Play as a reaction when a British search is successful. Treat the search as unsuccessful. Place the Ultimark adjacent to the Graf Spee. Marconi Transmitter. Move a British force up to 3 spaces. Place a freight ship on its starting location. Then use 2 action points. Montevideo. You can repair 2 damage if played as your 5th card in battle. If you do so, and your opponent plays Scuttling in Montevideo as their 5th card, you lose the game. So I guess it might be to your advantage maybe not to play this. Unless you know they've already played that card for action points, maybe. Okay, so Concentrated Fire, that's a common card. So we saw that with the British. You can look at your opponent's card. There's that cat and mouse game once again. Rules of Prize Warfare. Take 1 card from the discard pile and play its event immediately. If the selected card says so, it is removed from the game. There you go. Nice. So we have the German deck as well as the British deck. The draw bag. Got our little shield for the German. Well, maybe that's the British player because it is blue like the British cards, but I don't know. Why would the British be hiding their movement? It would be the Germans hiding theirs. We'll find out. Of course, here we've got our tokens, our small game board, our counters, and our rule book. And that is what we find when we take everything from the hunt from 25th Century Games outside the box. Of course, I will have a review of the hunt in the not too distant future. And of course, once again, keep in mind, as I record this, you can save $10 on the hunt over at the 25th Century Games website. So instead of the MSRP of $35, you can actually pick it up for $25. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this unboxing and first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, Here's hoping all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.